Back in 2020 to 2021, the idea of multiple income streams started to become way more prominent since a lot of people were losing their jobs due to the pandemic, and this has become more common again in 2023 and onwards when mass layoffs started to occur. After this, people realized that jobs weren't as stable as they thought, even though they're still way more stable than other income ideas. So, where else to look for ideas/inspiration other than YouTube? 10 income ideas guaranteed to make you rich. And in each of these types of videos, one income stream that was always listed was a YouTube channel. Make a YouTube channel, get monetized, and you'll start raking in the dosh, they said. Now, that wasn't the entire reason I started a YouTube channel, but it was one of them. I went for YouTube over shorter form content since I love to yap. Good luck getting me to make a 30-second TikTok. Now, I don't regret it. If anything, I regret not starting sooner. That way I'd have more of a catalog of what my life was like before I got my shit together. However, even to this day, I keep hearing of people quitting their jobs in order to try and become a full-time YouTuber. Well, I'm here to sprinkle a dose of reality onto that claim. The title is not clickbait. Here's a snippet of my analytics. For the entire month of March, I made $13.74 from YouTube. And it's actually even worse than this, but I'll talk about that later. But first, why exactly do people gravitate towards YouTube? There are other ways to make income, so why YouTube? Is it because of the fame involved? Well, some people don't care about the fame or notoriety. Example, me. What's my name? What color is my skin? Is my nose big or small? What color are my eyes? None of you guys know. Why? Because I like to keep my identity hidden. I made a video going over why, but it's mostly because I don't have much of a filter with my thoughts, and this lack of filter allows me to tell things how they are, and because I have a more professional career, my mouth would get me into trouble, or at least it potentially might, not a risk I'm willing to take. So I play it safe and hide my identity like a little pussy-ass bitch. But I haven't run into any HR issues at my office gig, so my plan seems to be working. Another reason could be people see other YouTubers talking about it and want to get a piece of the action. Maybe because you see the ad revenue that some large YouTubers are making and you want to get into that too. It could also be that some people just like making videos, but I think the main reason is it can be quite passive once things are up and running. If you have more evergreen type videos, aka videos that aren't time sensitive and can be rewatched, they can provide a great stream of passive income long after the video was uploaded. My content is a mix. Some things are time sensitive, aka I know who's going to win an election, so if you're going to gamble on the winner, do it now. Some are shit you can rewatch and are timeless, but most people will need to consistently upload to get any real decent income. A lot of my consumption on YouTube is on stock market videos, which are obviously time sensitive. If I miss a video from one creator one day, there's no point going back and watching it. That info is already outdated. So for one reason or another, people like gravitating towards YouTube as a passive income idea. And look, I'm a sucker for those income stream ideas. I have many myself, but trust me, a job/career is going to be by far your best income stream. I already talked about that in another video, but basically my secondary, part-time, minimum wage job earns me more in 1 year than every other income stream combined, besides my actual career. Instead of looking at drop shipping, making a YouTube channel, doing affiliate marketing, and making a Patreon, a better income stream idea would be simply just to get another job. Those are obviously tough to get in this economy, so do what you can, but don't turn down a minimum wage job because you think you're too good for it. They can be great ways to earn some extra cash. I literally have my CPA, and I work at a supermarket. No shame in making some extra coinage. A dollar is a dollar. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I got paid $13.74 for an entire month. Did I work around the clock 24/7 this entire month? As you can imagine, based off the fact I said I have other jobs, the answer is no. But did I do nothing on YouTube for this month? The answer again is no. Basically, all of my free time goes into making more YouTube videos, whether that be script writing, recording voiceovers, editing voiceovers, gathering images, making the video, adding in the timestamps, adding in video cards while it's pending in the YouTube studio upload section thing. Now, it's not a waste of time. I enjoy making this kind of shit, the same way people enjoy sitting down watching Netflix or playing video games. I guess my downtime is spent on more productive shit. But with that said, I don't have that much downtime. Long story short, I work every day of the week, 5 days at the office, which has an 8-hour workday, 1-hour commute up and back. I work both weekend days for 9 hours, 15-minute commute up and back. Then I have a gym routine that has me in the gym for somewhere between 4 to 6 hours a week. Kind of depends on how I feel that week. Lately, I've been quite lax on gym due to other crap going on in my life. And on top of all that, I have social activities. Contrary to what some people think, I actually have friends and shit. So hanging out with them obviously eats up some spare time. Point is, I don't have that much free time. This priority of time spent is fine though. I made a video on optimizing your schedule, but the TLDR of that is, even if this YouTube channel totally flopped, I wouldn't have compromised the other areas of my life for it. Example, I'm not quitting my jobs to make this a thing. I'm not giving up on gym and letting my physique and health get all sloppy to make this YouTube thing work. And when I was studying for my CPA, I'd always take a break from making YouTube videos to get my study done, because I was ensuring the rest of my life didn't get hindered due to me trying to get my YouTube channel up and running. I wasn't handicapping my career by not getting my advanced educational qualification in order to focus on YouTube. No, I did YouTube when I didn't have crunch time study, and it's paid off. My studies are done. So really, there isn't much else I need to be doing with my non-work/gym time. Shit like surfing stock charts could take some time, but usually I just suss them while eating dinner, since I can't really do too many edits while eating dinner since I need my hands to use the cutlery. They can't be on the laptop editing a video, whereas you can use one hand or the keyboard on TradingView. Can't really do that when I edit my videos. I need both hands. Or at least I need both hands to be efficient. So what I'm getting at is, yes, I didn't work 24/7 on this YouTube channel, but I didn't do nothing on it either. But how much time did I spend on YouTube in the month of March? Well, roughly 41 hours according to some routine tracker thing I have going on. I guess that's about right. I don't accurately track the hours I spend on making YouTube stuff because I literally don't care, but I have a rough gauge. Example, I didn't have any social events this week and a day off work, so I had more time this week. Or I had no days off work this week, didn't miss a gym session, and had a couple of social events, so not much time was spent on the channel this week, but it's close enough. Usually I spend more hours in a month on this, but I did have a bit more on this month than usual in terms of social stuff. Also extra cosmetic work such as laser hair removal, Botox appointments, dental appointments. Now these don't eat up that much time, but when you have to go out of your way to commute to these appointments, find parking, wait around for the appointment, then drive all the way back home, the combination of all of these, coupled with the social events, eats into dozens of hours of free time. This 41 hours of work doesn't always result in videos though. Obviously, it doesn't take me longer than 41 hours to make a YouTube video, but maybe 7 hours of these was spent on a pending video that wasn't ready by the end of March, so the work for that month is shown up in April when the video was uploaded. But even so, 41 hours divided by the $13.74 I earned in March equals about 34 cents per hour. What an hourly rate. Let me put into context how low this is. At my wagey job at my supermarket, I get paid a thing called cold allowance. Basically, you get a teensy-weensy tiny bit of extra money per hour because you work in a cold department. Even though the time we spend in the fridge isn't really that high, but because I sometimes work inside a fridge, I get this little extra bit. This tiny boost to my wagey job pay is basically what I earned per hour working on a YouTube video. To make the comparison worse, Saturday is my lowest paid day of the week. My base rate is about $32.58 per hour due to penalty rates stacking on top of the General Retail Industry Award. For those who don't know, us supermarket workers here in Australia are paid based on what this award says. It's slightly above minimum wage, and our minimum wage figures are higher than other countries, but it's only because of Australia's weaker currency. Use the base rate of $26.06 per hour and flip it over to other currencies, and suddenly it's not as high as people think at first. So on a Saturday, we get an extra 25%. So $26.06 times 1.25 equals $32.58. Now this $32.58 is also my base rate, plus the 35 cents for cold allowance, equals $32.93 per hour. That's basically my actual base rate per hour on a Saturday. But this doesn't account for my retirement fund pay. Basically, in Australia, if you're employed, 11.5% of your income is put into your retirement fund instead of going into your usual paycheck. So take this $32.93 times by 1.115, which is 11.5%, and that means my Saturday pay is more like $36.72 per hour after rounding. So why bring this up? Well, if you take a 15-minute shit at work, that's a quarter of an hour. So if you divide $36.72 by 4, that's $9.18 for a quarter hour of work. I get paid more for taking a shit at wagey job than I do working 20 hours on YouTube. Talk about bang for your buck. And that's my lowest paid day too. I get more than 40-ish an hour for Sundays at the supermarket and weekdays at the office. So that just makes this example even worse. So you would literally be better off working a few extra hours at your part-time job than you would be making a YouTube channel. This also assumes you're already monetized. I think I had about 160 videos on this channel before I got monetized. Can't remember, but I was making videos for years before I got ad monetized. So there was a lot of unpaid work on this channel before I even had the opportunity to make money from it. But in terms of the here and now, 34 cents an hour. Now, this was just ad revenue. A lot of YouTubers make most of their money from sponsors. Well, how much did I make from sponsors this month? The answer is 0. I have no sponsors. Another common way to make extra money from YouTube is via memberships, Patreon, buy me a coffee links, and affiliate marketing, none of which I make any money from either. My only income source from YouTube is through AdSense. So, all in all, I made $13.74 for this entire month. Well, it's something, I guess. Not to be ungrateful, because 4 years ago, if you told me I'd have a monetized YouTube channel, I would have been ecstatic. But you have people who literally quit their jobs to become a YouTuber. I'm here to show you that there are many cases of people who don't make anywhere near enough off YouTube to survive, me being one of those many people. So, I got that $13.74 in my pocket. Maybe it can pay for a small brunch. Oh wait, that's not the case either. This amount is just what I earned in that month. You aren't paid every single month either. You need to hit a minimum threshold. In Australia, this is at least $100. I think in the UK, it's also about 100 British pounds, which is a stitch up for those creators there because 100 pounds is like 200 Australian bucks. So it takes even longer for UK creators to hit their minimum threshold. You can make this threshold higher, example, 500 Aussie bucks before YouTube sends you a payment. There can be some tax strategies to delaying payments, but I always just opt for getting paid as soon as possible. So my payment threshold is the lowest. So once you hit this, you aren't paid out automatically. YouTube/Google pays you out once per month, near the end of the month. Only if you earned at least your minimum threshold for the month. So I didn't even earn $100 for the past few months, so I didn't get any payments from YouTube in the past few months. I am going to get a payment in late May, not sure what this is yet, but since I've hit the minimum threshold of 100 Aussie bucks, now YouTube will send some money my way. However, this total amount isn't even accurate. It also doesn't include taxes either, so this figure you're seeing here will actually be lower once the payment comes. I think it's an extra 30%-ish, so cut off 30% from this figure, and that's what I have coming my way from YouTube. And another issue, sometimes you can run into issues with YouTube itself, not just demonetization stuff, copyright stuff, but issues with your AdSense account. At some stage around 3/4 of the way through 2024, my ad revenue was halted because my account wasn't set up correctly. I set my OG AdSense account up as a corporation instead of an individual, so I had earned like $77 in AdSense before they finally realized that my AdSense account was wrong. Then my ad revenue was blocked until they got sorted. However, the useless prick who kept replying to my emails of me asking for help kept giving me incorrect instructions and basically just not reading my emails. They gave the exact same generic response every time. It was probably some AI looking back on it. I had to resort to publicly bashing them on X in order to get some competent help. So I lost like 3 weeks of ad revenue that whole time, all because whatever useless help support worker who was dealing with my issue on the other end couldn't figure out the simple fix to my issue, which took the responder on X like 5 minutes to figure out. And if it was AI, well, it took a human 5 minutes to fix what AI couldn't fix in 3 weeks. So I have $77 locked up in another separate AdSense account. The only way I can get this is if I have some official corporation registered document and I need a new AdSense PIN that Google still hasn't sent me yet. So there are many issues you can have with a YouTube channel that you don't see from the big fish who talk about how great having a YouTube channel is. So next, let's address a few common counter-arguments that may pop up as a response to this video. You're just trying to reduce competition. You're downplaying the good parts of being a YouTuber, so less people make YouTube channels to compete with you. My channel is revolved around my key stats in the game of life. I'm obviously not the only one who has a career, makes investments, goes to the gym, etc., but I seem to be the only one talking about them all. And even then, I have a unique point of view on things, and more than 2,000 people seem to like my style. Even then, doesn't matter what I say, people will start channels with or without my opinion. So there's going to be countless competition in terms of channels anyway. And as I said, not that many have my type of style either. One big part of this video was talking about how little the pay from YouTube actually is. So naturally, a counter argument is, well, just make some good content gamification, stop making shitty content, and people will watch. Well, fuck, you got me there. But unfortunately for me, good or popular content along my style, which involves career, money, investment stuff, the only real popular content revolved around that is people complaining about the job market, or complaining about layoffs or the cost of living, etc. Just look at the views on these videos. They're all designed to help you pick a right career, get experience, structure your resume to survive the job market, etc. But does anyone care? Well, a few hundred do, but go and search layoffs in 2025 are getting out of control on YouTube and see how many views those videos have compared to mine. The popular content around jobs/careers is people complaining/coping together, not doing things to help themselves. I predicted this a while ago and made videos on it, and although I would never totally flip my channel into one that reacts to complaining TikToks, it's probably a video idea I'll do a few times in the future. And I already kind of did one, but I spent ages dissecting every single complaint. Cheap way to make content, not gonna lie, but still better than the other reactors out there who legit just say something like, "Damn, that's crazy," as their reaction to a 1-minute TikTok on the job market. At least I'm providing actual insight, not just letting someone else's video rack up my watch time. Another argument could be to spice up the editing, then you'll get more views. Well, I've seen channels with much worse audio than mine and much less coherent rambling that get way more views because their video topic was about how much their life sucks. Because, as I just said, that's the type of content that does well these days. Yeah, I ramble, but I have a script. I don't just turn on the video on my iPhone and start complaining. There's way more editing in these videos than those other ones. And yet, 200 plus videos later, not a single video is above 6,500 views. My most popular videos have piggybacked off a more popular creator's name, which is a pretty sad way to grow a channel, and I don't want to have to resort to reacting to someone in order to get views. Still, no viral videos, and yet, I've seen videos pop up on my feed from creators with less than 5 videos who've already gotten 100,000 views. Sigh. So to finish off this vid, I'll show more analytics of my ad revenue. Actually, there's a bit more to this video. But anyway, now keep in mind I have $77 that is basically locked away unless I jump through a few hoops. It's possible I've just lost this money. From this video, you can see the ad revenue from each month over the past year or so. As you can see, it's not always as low as $13.74, but it's not like I usually make hundreds a month from YouTube either, especially not thousands. Definitely not something you want to rely on. Even if we're talking about bigger figures, it's still inconsistent. And here is a snapshot from my lifetime earnings. As you can see, it was flat for years, many years of unmonetized videos. So if you are considering starting your own YouTube channel, go for it. However, do realize that it's not a guarantee you'll start making enough money to replace the income from your job. Not only will you earn less than you probably think, as I've shown in this video, but you run into issues with copyright, demonetization, holdups from Google themselves, and despite what people say in regards to a boss, you still have one when you run a YouTube channel. People will quit a job so that they no longer have a boss. Well, YouTube is now your boss. Pretty sure there's a fair few things I can't do on my YouTube channel without it getting banned. And I also have my audience to appease if I want to generate clicks and watch time, and thus ad revenue. So in a roundabout way, I have more than 2,000 bosses. I can't just start making videos about my favorite video games from when I was a child, although I may eventually make that video because YOLO is my channel, but that's not the type of content I can consistently push out because my audience isn't watching me for that stuff. I've got to stay on brand. I would strongly reconsider leaving your job if you want to make YouTube your full-time thing. If you're going to do it on the side. And also, there are a lot of people who will stop watching your content if you pursue being a full-time YouTuber. There were a few channels I used to watch back in the day, and I liked them because they both had the full-time job/career thing going on and a YouTube channel on the side. What happened was their channels got big enough to live off, they quit their jobs, and now, well, their appeal for me is gone. So they lost me as a viewer because now they're just like every other channel I see out there. So you need to keep that in mind too when looking at becoming a YouTuber. Does it change you? Does it change your identity? If somehow my channel was big enough to live off and I quit my full-time accounting job, well, there goes the career stat. There goes a good chunk of my identity. Also, what you're seeing on screen now are some screenshots from a video from a creator I used to watch a lot. Once again, it was the classic full-time job and YouTube channel type person. Well, they quit their job and then they made a course on how to become a YouTuber. What a surprise. I'll delve more into this in another video, but what basically happened was the money was running dry because there was no dual income stream anymore, and because they were now a full-time creator, they hung around their full-time creator friends, and because of that echo chamber, they thought that selling a course on how to become an influencer was a good idea. Alas, it was not. The audience was having none of it. Some comments basically said, her appeal was the fact she had a job, so now the appeal is gone. And also, the only reason this person was super popular is because she was hot, like she had a nice face. Pretty privilege, right? I liked her for her other content, but a lot of the reason she was so popular was because she was just nice to look at. So she literally thought it was basically her personality or her style that kind of got her that many subs. Yeah, it would have gotten her some, but a lot of it was just due to the fact she looked good. Sometimes you need to be self-aware of that stuff in order to make yourself not look like a fool, or in order to make proper money. Such as her selling a course, but no one was buying it because, well, that's not what your audience is there for. People generally don't like the whole courses thing, and most of your popularity came only because of your genetics, really. Now, the reason I bring that up is, if you are reliant on YouTube as your income, you'll naturally gravitate towards more shady shit in order to make a living. Example, selling a course or shilling a crap sponsor. If someone tried to pay me $500 to shill a shit meme coin, I'd deny it. Yes, $500 is basically double what I've ever made in my entire YouTube life. Recall the lost $77, but it's not worth compromising the integrity of the channel. Well, I think I have some integrity, but it's only $500. I make more than that in one weekend at my part-time job. Not worth it. But if I didn't have that job, or my other job, I'd be way more inclined to accept shilling the shitcoin. So keep all this in mind when starting your own YouTube channel. It can change you, and if it does, you may lose the audience you built in the first place, since they subscribed for the you they knew at first, but now you've changed. And you had to change because you are now reliant on YouTube income to survive. People like me who have other income streams are able to be their authentic self, because even if being authentic costs us views and ad revenue, it doesn't really matter, since we can survive and thrive without the YouTube income regardless. It's just a supplementary income stream. So what are your thoughts on becoming a YouTuber? Is it worth it for you? Are you a YouTuber who has a different experience than me? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. That is all.